एको काले कोथा गेला गौर नटरा एको काले कोथा गेला गौर नटरा পাষাণে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব পাষাণে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইল লীলা
आवाज में ठीक है आप वाला है जो आपने जो लोड किया वो है यूट्यूब पे
সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইল লীলা সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরতম দাস
समय लगेगा 5 मिनट 2 मिनट अभी तो महाराज आने वाले
সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরতম দাস হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে হরে
Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna. Who's speaking?
Maharaj, Rasanand Das from Ujjain.
Hare. Okay.
Hare Krishna, devotees. So we will come to His Holiness Ramai Maharaj into this session. Maharaj is serving as GVC chairman currently, and Maharaj grew up in Australia when his parents moved there. He was 4 years old, and he studied music at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. He came in contact with ISKCON by reading Back to Godhead magazine, belonging to a friend from the university. His interest in the spiritual content was awakened, and he began to associate with devotees regularly. After some time, he joined as a full-time member and was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in Melbourne in 1973. Ramai Maharaj spent his formative years in ISKCON in the Brisbane and Melbourne temples, and later headed bus programs, traveling to cities and towns and sharing Krishna consciousness all over the Australian continent. Maharaj took sannyas in Mayapur 1982. Maharaj's background is in leadership, began as vice temple president in Auckland from 1974 to 1976, and continued as temple president in Adelaide, Melbourne, and the New Govardhan farming community from 1976 to 1986. He acted as regional secretary in Queensland from 1983 to 1986. After another stint on the traveling bus program from 1986 to 1990, Ramai Maharaj became temple president in Sydney from 1990 to 1992. In 1995, Ramai Maharaj became a GBC member. His zonal assignments have included Australia, Island. We are extremely fortunate today to have His Holiness Ramai Maharaj with us. Hare Krishna, His Holiness Ramai Maharaj ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm very glad to be able to be with you all today. Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripasinubhyevacha patitanam vainavyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we've been observing ceremonies for for the passing of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and here in this country, in all the temples and other countries all over the world. And it is a mixed feeling that now we're not having Maharaj's association, but we take comfort that we're not having his direct personal association, but we do take comfort that he is with Srila Prabhupada, and he is with Krishna, and of course we always have his association through his instructions, through remembering him, and trying to follow in his footsteps. So I was very fortunate, as many were all over the world, to be able to serve with Maharaj. I was co-GBC with Maharaj in Seattle in America, and we had a lot of conversations and phone calls and so on and so forth. And so many times I would be there with him, and many times in so many other places I would be with Maharaj. He is such a wonderful personality to be with, we all know, and he is so got so many qualities, so humble. I remember one time when he was in Sydney, and there was a big program. He asked me to come, and he was staying at a disciple's place, and I arrived a little bit late, and then they showed me to my room, and my room was the more big room, and then they said Bhakti Charu Maharaj is staying in this other room, the more small room. I said, well, why he's staying in the small room? I'm staying in, this is his disciples' house. He should stay in the big room. No, he wanted you to stay. He said he can't be in front of the God brothers and take the more big room. And I said, no, that's not good. So I rang him. He was at the program, and I rang him. I said, Maharaj, I'm not taking the big room. You have to. This is your disciples' house. I'm just a guest. So then he was arguing, no, but I was insisting, no. So he was so humble that he switched to. Actually, when he came, he had the more big room. when he heard that I was also coming there. He switched the rooms. So I always remember that. I thought such a wonderful personality. But reading a little bit from Chaitanya Charitamrita, I found that there's one verse, Guru Krishna Rupa Hana Shastrera Pramane Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 145. And Jahara Nikate Gele Papa Dure Jai. Emona Doyala Prabhu Keba Kota Pai. Where can anyone find such a merciful personality whose mere audience sends all sins far away? This is from Vaishnava Vigapti by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Wonderful verses that describe great personalities, and also in one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, from the purport from Srila Prabhupada, he says that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead arranges something, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculations. For example, sometimes we see that a powerful preacher is killed, or sometimes he is put into difficulty, just as Haridas Thakur was. He was a great devotee who came into this material world to execute the will of the Lord by preaching the Lord's glories. So I was just giving the class the other morning from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the class was a mention of Maharaj Parikshit. And Maharaj Parikshit, when he came upon the personality of Kali, how he could not tolerate that Kali was beating the legs of the cow and the bull, the cow being the symbolic, she in the form of the cow's mother Earth, and Dhamaraj in the form of the bull. So immediately he took his sword out to punish them, especially Kali, who was dressed like the king. He was like an imposter dressed like the king. And Prabhupada commented that Maharaj Parikshit comes in a great line, a great heritage. His grandfather was Arjuna. All the Pandavas were related to him, and he is a glorious personality. So the glorious personality means that two things. One, that he's possessed of very great qualities, very exceptional qualities, saintly qualities. Especially Maharaj Parikshit, Arjuna, Yudhisthira Maharaj. These were not just Rajas, they were Raj Rishis. And so they possessed all wonderful qualities. So someone who possesses wonderful qualities, they're considered glorious. But not only that, someone who has achieved, he has attained throughout his life, he has attained many achievements throughout the whole life. So someone who's done like that, someone who's attained many achievements, very wonderful achievements, is glorious. And someone who has the good qualities is also glorious. So someone who has both the good qualities, all the saintly qualities, and has attained so many achievements, he is a very, very special, extraordinary personality. So someone sent me a video of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and it showed the picture of Maharaj when he was just a young boy. very sweet photo. And he had that smile even when he was a young boy. We always remember his smile. So when he was, someone sent me, and then as he, another picture, a devotee was chanting, Ye Anilo Premadana, the passing of the song by Narottam Das Thakur, the passing of the great Vaishnava. So then all the pictures throughout Maharaj's life, from when he was a small boy to when he was the student, and when he was later in the life, when he was with Prabhupada, and so on and so forth. So I was reading a little bit the biography of Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj. It's so wonderful. I'm convinced he is so extraordinary person that he was sent specifically by Lord Krishna, by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to assist His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in spreading the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada always wanted as many people to join the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I remember one time when Srila Prabhupada came to Ratha Yatra in Melbourne, and at the end of the procession, he gave a short speech, not very long, but he addressed everyone. And there were devotees, but there were many guests who had also come and followed the Rath cart and came to the end. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for participating in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just by coming to this Rath festival, you have participated in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Prabhupada, he did so much just by himself. Even before coming to the West, he was in India with the League of Devotees, and he actually formed the League of Devotees. He had some kirtan and classes and so on and so forth. In Jhansi already he did something, but then things didn't work out exactly, and then he left for the America, and then in America first to New York, and then San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Francisco, then all over the world. But of course, so many came to assist him. Many devotees came, and some were very, very special. And I regard Bhakti Charu Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, as one of those very, very, as I said, he was sent by Lord Chaitanya to assist Srila Prabhupada. And his whole life, and not immediately manifest, perhaps, that how he was so exalted personality, just like we have Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wasn't immediately manifest, that he was so exalted personality, but later on became more and more apparent. And then I find the same thing with the Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Not immediately apparent, but later on it became so manifest and so obvious what a saintly person he was. And then, of course, you know, we all know that how he met, he went traveling into the Himalayas, searching for the guru, and then he came and he read the Nectar of Devotion, and finally he came to the Mayapur, and he was able to meet Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. I think that was early 1970, in January 1977, he met Prabhupada, and within a short time, he took the initiation, just first and second. I think that he met Prabhupada in January, and by Gaur Punim, 77, just after 1 month, he received the first initiation and the second initiation. This is a very rare thing that Prabhupada would give initiation so quickly to someone. Generally, everyone else, when we got initiated, Prabhupada required that we had to get the recommendation from the temple president and other senior Vaishnavas, and be observed to be chanting and following all the principles and chanting 16 rounds. And then after some time, we would get the recommendation for the first. And then after a little bit more longer time, or maybe 1 year even, we would get the recommendation for the second, sometimes 2 years. So, but we see here with Bhakti Charu Maharaj, within 1 month, he was the first initiation, second initiation, and then after 3 months, he took the sannyas, and Prabhupada awarded him the sannyas. This is very, very rare. Very, very rare. I took the sannyas after 10 years as brahmachari. But Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he was awarded sannyas by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada after 3 months after he took the initiation. So that in itself tells me that he is very special. Prabhupada, he recognized him. That is my conviction, that he came, he recognized him. Here's my disciple who has been sent by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and immediately my godbrothers were telling me, they were there at the time, they said Prabhupada had mentioned to them, yes, I can see he is a very elevated, he is a very cultured person, and he immediately initiated. So that tells me that that he is not ordinary, he is extraordinary. And just that we know, so right from the very beginning, and many of us, of course, know the history of Maharaj, how he did so many services, and he was so expert. Practically, he could do anything. From expert kirtan, very sweet voice, his class, wonderful classes, so scholarly. He knew so many shastras, and he could quote. His memory was very sharp. It was always a pleasure to attend. Every time I heard, oh, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he'll be giving the class today. Oh, I always wanted to attend. Oh, Bhakti Charu Maharaj is giving the class. Oh, I must go there. I must hear from Maharaj. So, but even when he outside giving the class, he was always talking about Prabhupada and talking about spreading the Krishna consciousness. He was definitely a general in the army of Srila Prabhupada, in the army of ISKCON, and one of the top. He's a major preacher, one of the dear devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and one of the major gurus in ISKCON. Certainly, we're lamenting his separation from us. That we won't have his direct personal association, but he contributed so much. It's just amazing the achievements he was able to accomplish. It was just an amazing thing. I was just reading through the Bible, so many things he did that. And he was just he had such a conviction, and he would very courageous also. This is another thing. He would just go very bold and all, sacrificing so much to travel everywhere. I used to tell him, Maharaj, you're more elderly, flying here. Maybe you should not. No, I have to go and preach. And he would take flights all over and just preaching. And so we know all these things. Many of us who know him, and practically the whole world of the devotees knows him. And Maharaj was such a personality. It felt like he could give you all of his time. You never felt that Maharaj was too busy or something like that. He went out of his way to welcome you. When we were there in Ujjain a few years ago, we had our GBC meeting in Ujjain at the wonderful temple there, Radha Mahan, and he greeted every single one of us. He came to our room. Is everything all right? And a few times, each one of us individually, he came. Is everything? Are you being looked after? And that he was like that all the time. And not only when at Ujjain when we had our meeting there, but everywhere he would make sure everyone was all right. He would go out of his way. He would. You thought that he was giving you all the time in the world. So everyone. This is a sign of every extraordinary devotee, that everyone feels they have a special relationship with him. Each individual feels they are the ones that have the special relationship. But actually, it is all the devotees because that's the way he made them feel. So these are exceptional devotees. I had one godbrother who passed away, and he was also a little similar, maybe not to the level of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, but he was a little similar. Venugopal Das, my godbrother, and he also made everyone feel. And when he passed away, many hundreds and hundreds of devotees came to be with him and be in his presence. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj is such a personality, wonderful qualities, and also as mentioned here. I was just reading one other thing. that the yes. So as I was saying, the glories of Maharaj Parikshit in the verse and also the Prabhupada's purport, he was saying such personalities are so great that their glories will be narrated and sung throughout the history. Throughout the history, they are so great. Just like we're still talking Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I think that we'll always be talking. He was so great, and just like and he is so loved by so many devotees. Now, it was Sanatana Goswami's disappearance anniversary also, and Maharaj also departed on that most auspicious day. So we were saying some stories of Sanatana Goswami, and one story was how he would went after Lord Chaitanya instructed him in Varanasi, and then he said, now you have to go and teach and excavate the holy places and establish temples and so on. But then when Sanatana Goswami, he went there and he was living very simply, and going from sometimes staying under the tree. Sometimes he would go from village to village in the Vrindavan, the Govardhan area, and he was such a wonderful devotee that everyone would come and offer him things, want to take his association. He would go out of his way, give time to everyone. And not only that, but he, if there was some problem, even it seemed like an insignificant thing, just a small thing, some family problem, some argument between the husband and the wife, or the children, or the brother, or whatever the situation. Sanatana Goswami would try to help. He would try to help. And he was very much loved, and so everyone had so much affection for him, and he had so much affection for them. So they're very similar. Bhakti Charu Maharaj was like that. He would always want to help, even with seeming insignificant, trivial things, even some family dispute. Can I help? And that was always the mood. I saw that so many times. And he sacrificed so much whenever, and he was one of these devotees that wherever there was some trouble, we know in France, New Mayapur, we almost lost New Mayapur because of the previous taxes that the government wanted that weren't paid, and the bank was owed some money. So then they were going to repossess the property. Probably many of you know this story. And then Bhakti Charu Maharaj was the main one who went around the UK and fundraising. And I think that I seem to remember he raised like 800,000 pounds from the devotees there. So that helped to save New Mayapur from the hands of the government or the bank. And so like that, in South Africa, there were problems, in France, wherever there was some problem, Maharaj was ready to go there and help the situation. He was ready to sacrifice. Not many devotees can be like that. And certainly the materialists, they are mainly thinking about themselves and their own position. And if there's someone else has got trouble, they're not very much concerned about that thing. But the devotee is opposite. And we saw this with Prabhupada. When Prabhupada came, he would very graciously, he would allow darshan. Of course, he was very busy, just as Bhakti Charu Maharaj was very busy, and he would schedule. He would have his, of course, Srila Prabhupada would have his program. And he would rise early in the morning and do the translation, and he would chant japa. He would go for the japa walk sometimes, and then he would give the class, and then he wanted to meet so many people. But Srila Prabhupada instructed us that please bring as many people here so that I can talk to them, especially the leaders of society, whatever field they're in. Please bring them, and so he would be like that. But he always had time for his disciples. He would make a special time to give the darshan, such a schedule. So I saw Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He was so fond of Srila Prabhupada, serving Prabhupada, and just like that. You know, he everywhere he went, he wanted to meet not only the devotees, his disciples, but leaders, and he influenced so many around the world. So very much in the same style, same mood. And actually, it really is a very wonderful quality of a disciple to be in the mood of their guru. Be in the mood of their guru, because, you know, the mood, so the disciples of Srila Prabhupada wanted to be in the mood of Prabhupada, because, and his mood was that don't sit idly, just try to do something for helping the people of the world. Of course, you yourself have to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, if you are not Krishna conscious, how are you going to help the others to become the Krishna conscious? So it's a very important thing. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I saw that he was training his disciples so nicely, very affectionate with them. He could be firm with someone who was straying a little bit, just as Srila Prabhupada was sometimes firm with us. I saw, and luckily, well, maybe not luckily, but I wasn't able to get that particular special type of mercy where Prabhupada was angry with me. There's also another mercy. You know, I didn't get the angry, but I saw some disciples get the angry. So, but that is also the mercy of the Guru. The Guru, he is always thinking. He is not out of hatred chastising the disciple. He doesn't have the hatred. He always has the compassion. And he's giving his mercy. This is how we should see it. So now with Bhakti Charu Maharaj, that we, as disciples of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and even as God brothers and God sisters, we should try to emulate. I told Bhakti Charu Maharaj on more than one occasion, when I'm with you, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I would tell him, I said, I feel I'm having nice association also with Srila Prabhupada, because you exude the mood of our Guru Maharaj so much. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I felt that with a lot of the senior devotees who were very close to Prabhupada. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj was very lucky, not more than me, because I had association with Prabhupada. But Bhakti Charu Maharaj, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and many of the devotees who had very personal association with Prabhupada, they got special mercy. They definitely got special mercy. And they very much exuded and exhibited the mood of Srila Prabhupada. So I always said to him, I said, man, when I'm with you, I feel very, very privileged, because I get the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Of course, he exhibited the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As I said in the beginning, he was especially sent. I'm totally convinced of that. And right from the beginning, as I said, Prabhupada recognized him immediately, gave him all the initiations within a short span of time. And he was able to accomplish so many things in his lifetime. So we should cherish that. What he did for the world, what he did for us, whether we're disciples or whether we're, God brothers and God sisters, or whatever our position, we should cherish that, and we should always remember that and keep Bhakti Charu Maharaj in our hearts like that. If we're remembering with affection and genuinely we're trying to follow in his footsteps, then Krishna will bless us. So who knows what is the plan? There's one verse from the Bhagavatam. O King, no one can know the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without any argument. So all of us were praying that Bhakti Charu Maharaj would stay with us and give his association for so many more years. But yeah, Lord Krishna had other plans, and he took Bhakti Charu Maharaj to be with him, Lord Chaitanya to be with Srila Prabhupada. So, we've got mixed feelings. We're very sad that we're not able to have his personal association direct in front of us, but we're happy, we're comforted that now he has gone on to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya in some other way. We don't know exactly, but obviously, I regard him as a very confidential associate of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So whatever is going on there, I'm sure he is assisting now, and what his situation is, that is known to Krishna and to Lord Chaitanya and to Srila Prabhupada. So Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I said I would speak for the 30 minutes today. So thank you, Hare Krishna. Is there anything else to be said, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. Some devotees have questions.
Oh,
Would you
yes,
like
okay.
to take some questions?
Yeah, well, if we have time, I can take a few questions, yes.
Yes, Maharaj, we have another 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Oh, I thought there was another speaker. Okay. All right. I don't know how long I can stay, but I'll answer a few questions. Okay, now, Manohadas. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for your wonderful. As a disciple of Maharaj, what should be our duty at this point? Many of us are feeling that they are shelterless. The GBC had some instruction, we will help them handle the situation. Secondly, many of us were aspiring to Maharaj for first and second issue. What should they do now? Well, I mean, it's a little early to tell as far as the second question, but firstly, yes, well, it's natural in one sense. You know, when I remember the time when Srila Prabhupada departed. Of course, you know, Prabhupada was sick on a number of occasions. He felt ill. 1967, he had that stroke or heart attack. And then again in 1974, we were chanting and praying for his recovery in the early years. And 74 again, he was sick. And we were 74, was it? I can't, 72. I can't remember the exact. I think 74 was the year we were all praying. My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, Master has not completed his mission. Please allow him to stay a little while longer, like that sort of prayer, like that. And then again in 77. So the previous times, Prabhupada stayed. We were praying, and Krishna kept him with us. The last time we were praying, and very strongly, that Srila Prabhupada, please Lord Krishna, but Lord Krishna is independent. He does by his own will. And so he chose to take Srila Prabhupada. So at that time, many of us felt the same. You know, it's very natural for the disciple when the guru leaves. We were crying. We felt hopeless. We felt we didn't have any shelter. But then we were reminded of Prabhupada's words to us and his instructions. And by his instructions, actually, following his Bani, his instructions, the Prabhupada told us that if you really want to know me, then read my books. I am in my books. So actually, you know, when someone is in the personal presence of someone else, they can know them to a certain extent. But in the writings, so much more is expressed. And so I've always felt that even, you know, Prabhupada, I mean, I was only devotee 5-6 years when Prabhupada left. And so I felt very shelterless. But then again, I started to study Srila Prabhupada. I associated with my godbrothers and godsisters and took especially of the senior Vaishnavas. And I read, I very much focused on and concentrated on reading Prabhupada's books, his letters, his instructions, and then I felt very much even closer to Prabhupada. Krishna reciprocates with the devotee, the disciple, when they, with renewed energy, they try to follow the instructions. So this I recommend to all of you, that just remember, keep Bhakti Charu Maharaj within your hearts constantly, continuously. Remember him. You know, you can watch the videos of Maharaj giving class. You can read his books. You can follow his instructions. Follow in the footsteps. Try to be as he was, following in the footsteps. And Krishna, you'll see, Krishna will reward you more, and he'll bring you more close to your guru, to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So just like that, I felt the same thing. And as far as your second question was, now I forget now, what was the second question about? Can you just put it again? Oh yeah, the first and second initiation. what should they do now? Well, they were aspiring. So we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's family, and in due course of time, Krishna will inspire within your heart, will inspire you. And when you feel inspired, one needs to take shelter of Shiksha Guru. One can, for the time being, take shelter of the senior Vaishnavas as Shiksha Guru. And in due course of time, you keep Bhakti Charu Maharaj in your heart. He is always there, Shiksha. But as far as Diksha, Krishna will respond with you. He will, it may not be immediately, maybe after some time. He will help you have the understanding who you should now go for the first and the second initiation. Because now that Bhakti Charu Maharaj is not directly with us, you will need to go to someone else that you are inspired by and have confidence and faith in. So that Krishna will manifest to you, will reveal to you in due course of time. Hare Krishna. From Kirtita Gopika Dasi, yes, why didn't senior devotees GBCs take any precautions to convince my beloved spiritual master not to go to America, knowing the greatest risk due to pandemic? There's no doubt that he is with Prabhupada now, but my heart is requesting for an answer to that question. I'm asking this question also keeping other Prabhupada's disciples in mind. You're also precious for ISKCON. They should be given special protection. Well, yes, well, we didn't know that Maharaj had made that decision, most of us. I was wondering why he did, but then someone sent me the video where Maharaj at the temple in Ujjain was giving a lecture how he wanted to go and spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was a little surprised that Maharaj went there from India to America, but he chose that, and he is the guru, and he is independent, just like Srila Prabhupada. The disciples would request him, don't plead, you are now ill, don't do, but the guru is independent in making his own decision. And as far as other GBCs, I wasn't aware that, and when I became aware, he already was in America. But then I was wondering, what is it? Then I saw the video, and he gave the explanation how he wanted to. So he's very courageous. He's got the heart of a lion, I have to say, Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He had the heart. He's very courageous, just like Prabhupada. As I said, he reflects very much the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Very courageous. He would go and take so many risks. Normally, others of perhaps a lesser stature wouldn't take so many risks, but he would take the risk, and he sacrificed for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He sacrificed, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided, no, now you are to come back with me now. I've got other things for you to do, other services for you to do. So what can I say for that? I don't think many of us knew that he'd made that decision. We found out about it when he actually already arrived in America. So he was there. Hare Krishna. Yes, the third, Raman Krishna Das, yes. Can you please clarify the GBC's understanding on third day rituals? Is it third day of departure or on third day? Was it third day after Samadhi or third day? Well, now there's the quote from Srila Prabhupada. I don't know if the GBC executive committee did send some message. I don't know if they, perhaps the quote was, there's a quote from Srila Prabhupada when one of his disciples passed away. Prabhupada gave the instruction that after 3 days of the departure, not of the Samadhi, but of the departure of the devotee, then there should be the festival honoring. Of course, one can continuously have festival for 8 or 10 or 11 days. But generally speaking, and this is the instruction given to us by Srila Prabhupada. There's reference in the Veda base where he's writing to one devotee asking about what ceremony should be performed, and Prabhupada very clearly says no. It's after the departure of the devotee after 3 days. Then he gave the outline. You have the picture and you do you speak some words, and you have the kirtan, and you have offering of the flowers, do arti, and then have the nice feast prasadam, and so on and so forth. So this is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, that after the departure, not after the samadhi. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Is there? This one. My question is: some of Maharaj's disciples had desire to serve Maharaj physically, but for some reason it's not happened. So fulfilling of the desire of those disciples, Guru will come back to the material world again, or disciples will go where Guru is. Well, that is up to between Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and Guru, whether he comes back, whether we're able to recognize him. Certainly, it is said, when Prabhupada always told us that just try to follow in my footsteps and serve very nicely, and we'll make an ISKCON in the spiritual world where we all come together, all my disciples, and can come and be with me. So it is to be understood that someone who is a dedicated disciple of their Guru, who very diligently follows all the instructions, they will go to be with their Guru, and then the Guru will be with Prabhupada and with Lord Chaitanya. And as Prabhupada said, there will be an ISKCON in the spiritual sky. I mean, ISKCON means an association of the Sangha of the devotees in the spiritual, especially in the rasa and the pastime of Lord Chaitanya. And so someone who's like that, we will go there. Whether Bhakti Charu Maharaj comes back again, that is something between Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada, and him. We are not in the position to say that. But better to act in such a way that we please our spiritual master, and Krishna will be very pleased with that. And then in due course of time, one will be reunited with the Guru, with their Guru, and one will be able to know that thing when they're in the liberated position. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We may be able to convince ourselves at some extent of after some day that it is Krishna's plan, but how to convince newcomers who just recently introduced in Krishna consciousness? Jagat Jivan. Well, that you have to be knowledgeable in what is the philosophy of the Krishna consciousness, just like I'm explaining. This is, he's not ordinary. So just like I quoted, there are many quotes from Prabhupada in the Shat, also from other acharyas. What is the position of extraordinary devotees, the gurus and the great Vaishnavas when they're leaving the world? And as it's, sometimes the Supreme Personality of God arranges something, one should not be disturbed by, even it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculations. So sometimes, you know, we don't understand these things. Krishna takes the opportunity to make a special arrangement to bring someone back immediately, or he leaves someone for some time. Certainly Maharaj's position, it brought, look how many devotees it brought together, just praying to Krishna. Even Maharaj was in the hospital praying to Krishna. This is a very extraordinary thing. For so many devotees, this is not ordinary person can bring so many people together in that way. So there's many, you have to study what is the Shastras, what is the example, and then you'll be able to, once you know that thing, you'll be able to convince the newcomers how this was not ordinary thing, this was a special rasa. Hare Krishna. Who will take the responsibility of delivering the disciple? The Guru who gave first initiation, or the Guru who gave second initiation? That is the combination of the both. You know, ultimately it is Krishna who delivers. I remember one time that Hridayananda Maharaj, he wrote to Prabhupada and he said that, Prabhupada, please come to Brazil. We've been preaching here and many newcomers are here and some have become the devotees. and they've been practicing, and they are ready for the initiation. Please, we wish you to come and initiate them. And the Prabhupada wrote in a little bit unusual way. He said, yes, I can come there, but actually he said that the initiator is already there. He said the initiator is already there. That is the Krishna in the form of the holy name. Actually, it is Krishna who is the initiator, and we are just his representatives. So can I just have that question again, please? Just to see. Can you put that question again? It is Krishna who is initiating. So Krishna actually, we are the gurus, they're initiating on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is the deliverer, and it is a combination. Krishna delivering it. It's not that devotional service is done in isolation. There is Krishna, and when there is Krishna, there is Radha, there are all the devotees. So everyone, all the acharyas, all the gurus, all the devotees are working together to deliver the fallen soul. So someone took their first initiation, that guru he is helping to deliver, and the second, and then he takes the second initiation from other guru. So both the gurus, one through the Vani, other one through the Vani and the person, and Krishna is also helping. So Krishna is helping, and the first initiation guru is helping, second initiation guru is helping, Vaishnavas are helping, everyone is helping. So it is the first combination, first and second, they will deliver that one who is the disciple of the two guru, of the first taken from one guru, the second from the other. They're both assisting in their own way. Some are very apparent, as some more not so apparent. Hare Krishna. Any that was the final question, Prabhu?
No.
More?
Krishna, a few more questions are there.
Nityananda Swarup Prabhu, as a disciple of spiritual master, how we can carry out his teachings throughout. As a disciple, how can carry out his teachings throughout whole life? Well, we have to always remember him. Keep him in your heart, and because you know, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his last days in Puri, some disciples were gathered around. And he told the disciples, he said, when I leave, he said, many will leave. But then he pointed to everyone, he said, but you should stay. Because it's very traumatic for the disciple when the guru passes. And many will, but in other words, he's saying, but some may leave, but you should never leave. You should stay. You should follow your whole life. So one has to have that conviction. One has to have that determination. You have to always keep Bhakti Charu Maharaj within your heart. You will always remember him, and you have to follow the principles of devotional service very nicely, because if you don't follow the principles of devotional service very nicely, one will not be able to remain strongly in the position of Krishna consciousness. One will become weakened. So in the weakened position, we can become distracted by so many things, and there are so many obstacles. One of the guru's primary duties is to help the disciple overcome the obstacles. So therefore, take shelter of his instructions, keep in remembrance within your heart, follow everything nicely, and take shelter, associate very nicely with your God brothers and God sisters, and associate very nicely with other senior Vaishnavas, because actually we're all family. We're all in Srila Prabhupada's family, and ultimately we're in Lord Chaitanya's family. ISKCON is a branch of the Chaitanya tree, and is one family, Srila Prabhupada family. So in the family, just like normal family, someone gets in trouble, the other one, the brothers, the father, everyone comes to help. Everyone comes to help. So the brother is in trouble, the sister is in trouble, the father in trouble. Then all the family member comes and helps them. So similarly, we're in the Lord Chaitanya family, and specifically we're in Srila Prabhupada family. So everyone is there. All the family members are there to give the help, to give the guidance, to give the instruction. So all these things combined, not one or the other. You have to try to do all these things combined, and then that will very much help you to practice the Krishna consciousness, following the footsteps of your spiritual master your whole life. Always remember you are the representative of your guru. Don't think otherwise. Just like he was always, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he was always thinking, I am the representative of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada thought, I am the representative of my Guru Maharaj, who is the representative of his Guru, and who ultimately to Krishna. So, and Prabhupada told us that sometimes, I remember one occasion, some devotees had done some wrong thing. And Prabhupada called them and he said that, you know, you've done the wrong thing. Always remember that you are my representatives. And if you do the wrong thing, then that will reflect on me. Oh, they are the disciple. He is the guru. What type of guru he is to have this type of disciple? So he said, just always act very nicely. Always act like the sadhu. Don't cross the line of the sadhu. Always act like the sadhu. You are my representatives. So we should always think that how I am the representative of His Holiness, your Guru Dev, Bhakti Charu Maharaj. And then if you always like that, following everything, your whole life you will be there at his lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. The disciples of Maharaj, this one, Rajendra Krishna Prabhu, who have very strong desire doing the fun to receive some fun. Yeah. So there was some shortcoming in Selva's part because of which the desire couldn't be fulfilled. How to understand that? It is a very esoteric thing. How to understand that the disciples wanted to be with their Guru Maharaj, but they weren't allowed to be because of the situation. Maybe Krishna wanted to give some other instruction. He wanted to take him. You couldn't physically be present, but you had to take more. And what is the instruction? The remembrance of him. Krishna works in many different ways. As I quoted from this Srimad Bhagavatam, even the great philosophers, they cannot understand why Krishna is doing something. Even the biggest scholars and even the greatest devotees, even the rishis and the deva, they cannot understand why Krishna is doing. But you know, Krishna has his plan. We may have our plan, and it may be very good plan, very good Krishna conscious plan. But if Krishna's plan is some bigger thing, then our plan has to be subordinate. So we may have had the idea of the plan to be with Maharaj, but we couldn't be with Maharaj. Krishna desired here, and because someone in the position of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, so exalted devotee, this is something going on, arrangement by Krishna with his devotee. So because it happened like that, we have to understand this was Krishna's desire. And he wanted us to learn in another way how to be with Maharaj. Maharaj was perhaps giving the final lesson. Now it's time, I'm leaving. So now I want to, intensify that. Now you have to take shelter of me through remembering me and following my instructions, and keep that with your whole life. So these pastimes, why this situation he was taken in such a way, it is not for us to completely understand, but we can rationalize a little bit just by understanding what is the philosophy and getting the guidance and the opinion of the senior Vaishnavas. And those of you who are with decades, you weren't able to join Maharaj. Just myself as a disciple of Prabhupada, I wasn't able to get so much personal. I got quite a few occasions, but not like some of the other disciples who were had sometimes months long associate. I was always thinking how unfortunate I was. Look at these God brothers and God sisters; they are getting such personal. But I felt proper. I was going for the book distribution, but I saw the others were staying back, getting Prabhupada's personal associate. So why I'm not like them? Why I have to go for the other thing? I was thinking like that sometimes. But then I felt Prabhupada's presence more by doing the service he requested, just within my own heart. So these things we cannot fully understand sometimes, but we have to accept, we have to have faith in Krishna. Don't let your faith be diminished Sometimes the more neophyte devotees, when something very disturbing happens, their faith is so shaken that they leave the Krishna consciousness. We should never do like that. Have the strong faith, keep the good association, and know that this is some arrangement, some very esoteric thing between Krishna and his very dear devotee. And we can just take solace that now we have to become more closer to Maharaj. And unfortunately, we lament we weren't there. And Prabhupada, I was lamenting also. I have to say that when Prabhupada was leaving his body in Vrindavan in 1977, as I said, Prabhupada was ill other occasions, but he recovered. And most of us were thinking he again would recover. But Prabhupada called his disciples. At one point, there was restriction who could be with him in Vrindavan. And then a little while later, Prabhupada gave the message that to send to all my disciples, whoever wants to come here can come here. So I was thinking to go, but at that time I was flying from London to Sydney, and I was thinking when I get back, then I will go. But just as I was flying on the plane, Prabhupada left. So I was lamenting. Just when I was on the plane, I found out when I landed that Prabhupada had passed away. And I was lamenting, I was on the plane, I wanted to go, I postponed, I made the conscious that I postponed till after my preaching in London, then I would go with Prabhupada. But then when I arrived back, Prabhupada left. I was so angry with myself, why I didn't go immediately to be with Prabhupada. So I was feeling like that. So you may be feeling like that. But so that is something that will always be with you. I still have that feeling. But that was my arrangement. But this is something else from Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Krishna, how devotees were kept at a distance because of this COVID-19 situation. No one could go there, and only just a few devotees could be there. They were there. Legally, you couldn't go there. So what can be done? We just have to accept and just take solace that we got so much mercy from Bhakti Charu Maharaj. We'll always remember that. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. This is Camille Punt. How should strongly aspiring devotee who made his complete mind for complete surrender to get initiated Guru Maharaj act as Guru Maharaj is not physically present? Well, now you have to see Guru Maharaj as your Shiksha Guru. There are different types of gurus. And Shiksha Guru is very prominent. You all know in our line of Sampradaya, Shiksha Guru is the prominent link. They're Shiksha, through the Shiksha. But of course, one needs Diksha also, the direct. So, all right, so now you didn't get, but you keep Bhakti Charu Maharaj as your Shiksha Guru, but you also need personal association, direct association. So the Diksha is also necessary. So that, as I said to, and then someone else asked a similar question from before. As I said, that Krishna will reveal to you within your heart, how to go about. If one is sincere and one is genuine devotee, then Krishna will reveal in time what is the best thing, and take advice from your god brothers, god sisters, and so on, and senior Vaishnavas. But always Bhakti Charu Maharaj will be there as your Shiksha Guru. And now, in due course of time, you will be able to know who is your Diksha Guru. You take a Diksha from someone who you feel very inspired, enthused in your Krishna consciousness path.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, there are two more questions. There are two more questions. Would you like to take?
I will take one more because, as I said, I have to go. One more. Which one is it? This one? Radha Mataji? No, which one?
These are the last two questions.
Last two, I see. My question is, when so many devotees pray to Krishna Guru Maharaj, then why Krishna didn't allow Guru Maharaj to stay with us? Well, we have to understand that Krishna, he is the all-independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has his own desire. We cannot question why Krishna does something. He has his own reasons. There was one story Jesus Christ, and he had one very devout follower, but he was always very ill, and his friends, who were also followers of Jesus, they tried taking to so many doctors, so many treatment, everything. Nothing was curing him of his illness. So they said, let us take him to Jesus. He can perform the miracle. He can do something. So they took him, and Lord Jesus, he looked at him and he said, oh, yes, he has to fast, just drinking the water for 1 month. He has to do this fasting. And then when he finished the fasting, you bring him back again. So some of the friends of this person, they were very shocked. Why Jesus said like that? Why this thing? And some of them lost their faith. They gave up being the followers of Jesus. And so, but this man, he was very devout, and he followed, and then he came back. And then Jesus said, all right, bring him here. Make some the hot milk. Make some the hot milk and put the lot of honey inside there and stir it. And have him hold it to his mouth, but he's not allowed to drink. Don't drink, just hold it. So some other followers, some other friends, so now he is torturing. Now he's fasting and he's just holding, he can't even drink. So they lost a lot of faith. But this man, he followed and he said, and hold it and leave your mouth open. Hold your mouth open. So this story is, some of you may know, that after quite some time, they saw something in his mouth coming up through the throat, and it came further and further, and it actually was some worm, what's called the tapeworm. That sometimes the worms goes in the intestine, so the worm was also fasting. So when the worm smelt the honey, it came up, and then when Lord Jesus, he saw that, he threw it on the ground, and he said, now he can drink the milk. So these things, we can't lose our faith. We pray, but Krishna is independent. He hears the prayers, but he has some greater plan. We prayed, but Krishna has taken Bhakti Charu Maharaj to do service in some other way. So that's how we should be thinking. We cannot order Krishna. Don't be like the neophyte. Well, I prayed. I prayed for some more money, better job. So many things, but Krishna didn't give. And then who is this Krishna? Why he didn't give? I remember one time I was in Jakarta. I gave one program, and the one man, he was executive in a big factory, and so the wife, she organized a big program. We did program, and everyone was very happy. But then later, after a few days, she came to the temple and she wanted to speak to me. She said, Swami, I did the program and I did everything for Krishna, organized everything, but now I've lost my job. Why Krishna did like that? I organized everything, but now I lost my job. So I said, well, who knows what is the plan? But she was very upset. No, why is Krishna doing like that? But then after 1 week, she came back to tell, oh, Swami, now I'm very happy. I've got better job. So Krishna, he can work in so many ways. We don't know exactly. We pray, but Bhakti Charu Maharaj is taken by Krishna, and he is in situation. I read there was one homage that Bhakti Charu Maharaj wrote in Vyas Puj offering to Srila Prabhupada in 2012, where he wrote to Prabhupada, and one of the last lines was, Prabhupada, I've finished all your services all the services that you wanted me to do. So now I'm longing to be with you. I think this offering was from 2012. If I'm not mistaken, I was reading. And he said, now I'm longing to be with you. Please come and take me to be with you. So maybe Krishna and Prabhupada wanted him to do a few more years, but certainly he was praying like that. So now Lord Krishna has fulfilled his desire, and Prabhupada has fulfilled his desire, and they've taken it. So we can pray. Jayapataka Maharaj was saying the same thing. He said, I prayed very hard. He said, I prayed so hard that he stay and with us and do many more years. He's such an important devotee. He's such an important devotee. I prayed so hard to Krishna, to Lord Nrsimhadev, but who can dictate what is the decision of Krishna? Whatever he desires, he took him to be with him he went back home, back to Godhead. So this, we should remember these things. Final question. Many devotees are feeling the GBC should have certain rules and to take care of health issues and traveling ISKCON gurus. Not a foolish question, Radha Mataji. That is a very good point. When the COVID pandemic first started, as this year's GBC chairman, I made some videos and I was requesting that please follow, don't travel, just follow all the rules and regulations. But Maharaj was independent. He wanted to go and preach, and he was able to go. There was no restriction against it. But I think that your point is good. Some other the disciple also rang me. Maybe we should make more official thing, because many of us are elderly now, and we are in the danger zone, physically speaking, for traveling. And even the GBC, we were meant to have a meeting in October in Pune, but we cancelled because with this virus, we cannot go internet. There's no flights, and they're not allowing us to go outside. But nevertheless, even the health, considering the health situation, we cannot go. So I think it's a good suggestion. I'll discuss it with the other. Maybe we should put more official statement. But we cannot be so forceful, because some, by law, they can travel, but at the same time, we're a bit concerned about their health. So we'll consider maybe making something official and making a statement like that. So thank you. Very, very good suggestion.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna.
We have His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj here. He would like to say something on behalf of all the disciples of Guru Maharaj.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Bhakti Charu Swami. Hare Krishna.
Please accept humble Maharaj.
Bye.
We are very grateful to you, Maharaj. The way you help in every single details of Guru Maharaj, starting with decisions regarding Guru Maharaj's statement. You are always there for us, guiding us and making all necessary arrangements. Maharaj, you also connected us to various other senior devotees for guidance regarding transferring Guru Maharaj Gopu and making Samadhi. Since almost all of us were at far distant from Guru Maharaj, we made all arrangements for informing us all time to time about Guru Maharaj's health condition, departure, and even what to do after departure.
Sorry? Yeah.
First,
Sorry, you cut out a little bit. What did you just say, Maharaj?
like you made all arrangements for informing us all time to time about Guru Maharaj's health condition, his how he departed from this planet, even what to do after the departure as a disciple of Guru Maharaj. When Guru Maharaj was critical, you even arranged all ISKCON temple to stop all activities and just and do kirtan. So we feel so safe in your shelter of ISKCON under the guidance of Spirit Uncle.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. We tried our best to facilitate everything, and we were in close contact with everyone and making all arrangements as nicely as possible. I think everything has gone all right. Perhaps we could have done even more, hard to say. But thank you very much for your kind words, and thank you all. You are such all wonderful devotees. It is so wonderful to when I came to the temple there in Ujjain, and every time, anywhere in the world, Maharaj's disciples, he is such wonderful guru. He is training his disciples to be very gentle and very affectionate, and just like reflecting his own mood. So thank you, Maharaj, for your kind words, and anything I can do, any service I can render, please don't hesitate to contact me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So can I take your leave now? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Pramanandi, Hari Hari Bo.
Ramai Maharaj ki.
Hare Krishna.